Boys and girls, this is Mr. Manise, and on this video I'm going to walk you guys through how to solve each of the problems on our test number 3 review, solving equations. So my disclaimer as always on these videos is I need you guys to work these problems as best you can, and then if you're still confused, then you can come back to the video and fill in any gaps or misunderstandings that you may have. So let's just go ahead and jump into this test review. In the first problem here we have 9x minus 7 equals 92. Okay, so remember when we are solving an algebraic equation, I'm trying to get the variable by itself. I am trying to isolate that guy right there. I want to get x by itself on one side of the equation. So I have to kind of go through the weeds and kind of undo a whole bunch of stuff until I get x by itself. All right, so anytime I have a coefficient, this number in front of x, I'm multiplying 9 times x. Okay, so that's multiplication. So if there's any other addition or subtraction on the same side of the equal sign, then I need to undo that first. So I have 9x minus 7. Okay, so I need to do something about this before I get this x by itself. So we're subtracting 7, so the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add, and I need you guys, I know I've said this a whole bunch in class, but I need you guys to work out these steps exactly the way that I'm showing you guys how to do it so that you stay organized and so you have a step-by-step procedure for how you arrive at your answer. Okay, so I have minus 7, so I'm going to add 7. I want you to add it right underneath the minus 7. Don't come over here and add it. Don't come over here and add it right underneath there. Okay. Now remember, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. I got to keep my seesaw balanced. If I put 2 bricks on the left-hand side of the seesaw, I got to put 2 bricks on the right-hand side of the seesaw to keep my equation balanced. Okay, so we're going to add 7 on the left-hand side. I must also add 7 on the right-hand side. Okay, draw your line underneath. I see you guys as we're working class, some of you guys are not doing that. Draw your line underneath. Negative 7 plus 7, they cancel. So I want to see you draw that line. Scratch that out. So your brain sees, okay, we don't have that anymore. Okay, negative 7 plus 7 is just 0. Everything else I'm just going to bring straight down. So the 9x, I'm going to bring that straight down. The equal sign, I'm going to bring that straight down. And then I'm going to add the 92 plus the 7. Okay, that gives me 99. Okay, I'm still trying to isolate the x. I'm still trying to get this guy by himself. Right now we're multiplying x times 9. That's multiplication. So we have to undo that. Okay, the reverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 9. Okay, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to divide both sides by 9. Now 9 over 9, that just cancels. Okay, 1,000 over 1,000. 1,000 over 1,000. That's 1. Smiley face over smiley face. That's 1. 9 over 9. That's 1. Okay, so I'm left with 1x, but we don't write 1x. We just say x. And that's going to be equal to 99 divided by 9, which is 11. Okay, so x is equal to 11. Oops. X is equal to 11. Okay, now, you guys have heard me say this a lot before. I can always go back. That's one thing I love about math. I can go back and I can check my work. We think that x is equal to 11. Okay, let's see if my camera can focus here. Here we go. I can take my answer and I can do what? I can go back and plug it back in. Okay, and I got to make sure that the left-hand side of the equation equals the right-hand side. So on my calculator, let's check this. Okay, so I want you guys to do this with me. Do this with me on the video. I'm going to stick in 11 right there for x. So I'm going to have 9 times x, but we're saying that x is 11. So let's do 9 times 11. Okay, minus 7. Minus 7, that better equal what? Press enter. That better equal 92. And it does. And that didn't take me but just a few seconds to go back and check my work. Okay, let's look at number 2. I have 6 equals x plus 4, x divided by 4 plus 2. Okay, I'm trying to get this guy by himself, trying to get the x by itself. I have to undo any addition or subtraction first. Okay, so there's a plus 2. I got to undo that. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2, write it straight underneath it. And then on the left-hand side of the equation, I'll also have to subtract 2. Draw your line underneath, and then we go ahead and add vertically. 6 minus 2, that's 4. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the x divided by 4. And then 2 and minus 2, they cancel, so scratch that out. They just go away. Okay, now what are we doing to x? We're taking x and we're dividing it by 4. So to get x by itself, I have to do the reverse operation. The opposite of division is multiplication. So draw your little parentheses. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 4. Okay, so over here, 4 times 4, that's 16, equals, bring down the equals, What is 4 over 4? 1,000 over 1,000 is 1. 9 over 9 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is just 1. They cancel. And I'm left with 1x or just x. 16 equals x. That's the same exact thing as x equals 16. Okay, x equals 16. Okay, I can check this. Okay. Now we have 6 on the left-hand side, so I want to make sure that the stuff on the right equals 6. So let's type in x divided by 4. That we say x is 16. So 16 divided by 4, and then I'm going to add 2. Add 2. That better equal what? That better be equal to 6. And it does. The left-hand side of the equation. So my equation checks out. That lets me know for 100% sure that I didn't make a careless mistake. Okay, number 3. Okay, I've got a fraction here. I got this nasty fraction. I want to get this 5 off the bottom. That's division. So I'm going to undo division with multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5. Whatever's on the denominator, that's what I'm going to multiply both sides by. 5 over 5, they cancel. 5 times 3 is 15. Bring down the equal sign. And then here I'm going to be left with whatever's in the numerator. The 5 over 5 cancels, and I'm left with 2x minus 3. And now we just have our normal two-step algebraic equation. I need to get the x by itself, so I've got to undo the subtraction. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. The 3's cancel. 15 plus 3, that's 18. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the 2x. Okay, the 3's cancel. That's multiplication. I need to undo that with division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 cancels. And I'm left with x is equal to 18 divided by 2, which is 9. Okay, and you guys can go back, plug these back in and check these. Okay, I'll show you how to do this one real quick, because this is a little bit tricky to check it, because I got to make sure I put this stuff in parentheses. Okay, because all this is a fraction, so I got to put this in. I got to put this numerator in parentheses. I could do parentheses 2 times x. Well, we're saying x is 9, so I got to do 2 times 9, and then I have minus 3, and then I need to close the parentheses, because I'm taking all of that and I'm dividing all of that by 5. All right, and that better equal what? Press enter. That better equal 3, the left-hand side of my equation. Okay, so yes, I didn't make a careless mistake. Move on to the next problem. Number 4, I see parentheses. So when I see the parentheses, I got to distribute. Okay, so draw your little arcs there like I've taught you. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then bring everything else down. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 3x plus 3. I've got a 3x on the left and a 3x on the right. So I need to get rid of one of these guys. So if I subtract 3x, just do the opposite. That's an understood plus sign, right? So I do the opposite, subtract 3x from both sides. Those cancel, and those cancel. And I'm left with, bring down to minus 3. I'm left with negative 3 equals, bring down this positive 3. Does negative 3 equal positive 3? Of course not. No, it doesn't. It doesn't equal that. Okay, so in this case, I have no solution. When the left-hand side of the equal sign does not match the right-hand side of the equal sign, once you do all the math, then we get no solution. There's no number for x that I can plug in that will make the left and the right-hand side equal. Okay, so that's no solution. Okay, number 5, first thing I see is parentheses. I see these back-to-back signs. So this takes us back to week 1, 7 minus a negative 3. What do I do with that? I've got back-to-back signs. Whenever I have back-to-back signs, I need to combine those into one sign. Okay, back-to-back signs. Minus and a minus, that becomes a what? It becomes a plus, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as 6x plus 2 equals 8. Okay, I got to get the x by itself. So here's some addition and subtraction on the left. So let's undo that. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Those 2's will cancel. Bring down the 6x. Bring down the equal sign. 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, that's multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. 6 over 6 is 1. And I'm left with x is equal to 6 over 6, which is also 1. So that is literally my answer. X is equal to 1. Okay, number 6. Okay, I've got 4/5 x minus 2 equals 10. I'm trying to get the x by itself, so I got to undo the addition and subtraction first. So I see subtraction, so let's undo that. I'm going to add 2 to both sides of the equation. Draw your line underneath. Scratch that out. Bring everything else down, so I bring down the 4/5 x. Bring down the equal sign, and then 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay. Now, I got to get this x by itself. Okay, now this is written, the x is kind of written out front of the fraction, kind of like this, like 7/3 x, but that's also the same thing as 7x over 3. Our 4/5 x, that's the same exact thing as 4x over 5. So you can kind of think of it as both ways, think of it both ways. Whenever I have a fraction times a variable, and I want to get rid of that fraction, I can do what's called multiplying by the reciprocal. Now, the reciprocal just means you multiply by the inverse fraction. So the reciprocal of 7 over 3 is 3 over 7. The reciprocal of 10 over 4 is 4 over 10. You just simply flip the fraction. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. The opposite of 4 over 5 is 5 over 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5 over 4. Okay, now what happens when I multiply 5 over 4 by 4 over 5? If you're not sure in math, guys, do it on the calculator. Let's try it out. What happens with 5 over 4, 5 divided by 4, times 4 divided by 5? What do I get? I get a big fat 1. Okay, so the whole reason for multiplying by the reciprocal is because those guys will cancel, and you're just left with 1x, or x. And then I have 12 times 5 over 4. Do that on your calculator. 12 times 5 divided by 4. And I get 15. X is equal to 15. And that is my answer. Okay, if I'm going too fast on these guys, YouTube is a wonderful thing. Just press the pause button. You can do that 10-second, go back 10 seconds or whatever, and just keep going back and watching these over and over as many times as you guys need to until you get this and understand it. If you need some extra practice, guys, go to Google. Just Google multi-step algebraic equations and just work on and practice these things. Go back and check them. Okay, for sake of time, I'm not going to check every single one of these, but I could take the 15 and I could plug it back in. 4/5 times 15 minus 2, and that better equal 10. All right, let's check out number 7. I've got this nasty 4 on the bottom. Normally we say we need to undo the addition and subtraction. I don't have any addition and subtraction on the right-hand side. I just have the fraction. So I'm ready to go ahead and multiply by the denominator, whatever's in the denominator. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Okay, so 4 times -1 is -4. Bring down the equal sign. 4 divided by 4, those guys will cancel, and I'm just left with the numerator, which is 5 plus x. All right, I need to get x by itself, so I need to get rid of this 5. That's a positive 5. That's an understood positive, so the opposite of positive is a negative, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Positive 5 minus 5, they cancel. All right, and so I have x is equal to, bring down the x is equal to -4 minus 5. If you're not good at doing that, guys, just do it on your calculator. -4 minus 5. Okay, that's -9. If you're not good with adding and subtracting these integers, I'd rather you guys just use a calculator and get it right than to make a mistake and get it wrong if you're trying to do that stuff in your head. X equals -9. Okay, number 8. I got 3x plus x equals 2x plus 40. Now, anytime you've got more than one term with a variable on the same side of the equal sign, we need to combine our like terms. I have 3 apples on the left plus an apple. Okay, that's all on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So 3 apples plus 1 apple is 4 apples. Combine your like term. Notice back up here, guys, there's no place in any of these problems before where we had multiple variables on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, that hasn't happened yet. This is the first time it's happened. 3 apples plus 1 apple is 4 apples. Bring down the equal sign. Bring everything else down. Bring down the 2x. Bring down the plus 40. Okay, now I've got multiple variables, but they're on the opposite side of the equal sign. Okay, that's different. So now I'm trying to get a positive variable. So does it make sense for me to subtract 4x from both sides or subtract 2x? If I subtract 4x, I'll have 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is going to give me a negative number. I don't really want to mess with that. So why don't we subtract 2x from both sides, okay? Because we've got variables on both sides of the equation. Subtract 2x from both sides. Draw your line underneath. 2 apples minus 2 apples is 0 apples. They go away. 4 apples minus 2 apples is 2 apples. 2x. Bring down the equal sign and bring down the 40. Okay, that's multiplication. I'll undo that with division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Those will cancel. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. And I'm left with x equals 40 divided by 2, which is 20. X equals 20. And you can go back and check this. Check your work. All right, so let's go ahead and flip on over to the back here. Keep going. All right, so we got number 9 here. Okay, we got one set of parentheses, so what do I do here? I need to draw my little arcs. Okay, 4 times x, I got to distribute. 4 times x is 4x. Get your signs right. 4 times -2. Once again, guys, I'm begging you, use your calculator if you're not good at doing this stuff in your head. 4 times -2. Type that in. That's -8. 4 times -2 is -8. And I just bring everything else down. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the 8x minus 16. All right, I got apples on the left and apples on the right of the equal sign. So I got to move one of those guys. I either got to move the 4 apples over to the right or move the 8 apples over to the left. Okay, so which one is going to give me positive apples? Okay, if I subtract 4x, that will give me a positive over here. So that's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and subtract 4 apples or 4 x's from both sides. Draw your line. 4 apples minus 4 apples is 0. Bring down the -8. Bring down the equal sign. 8 apples minus 4 apples is 4 apples. And then bring down the -16. Okay? Now, I'm still trying to get the x by itself, so that means I got to get this -16. I got to move this guy to the other side of the seesaw. So the opposite of -16 is a positive 16. So I add 16 to the right. I got to add 16 to the left. Draw your line. 16 minus 16 cancels. And I have -8 plus 16. That's going to be 8. So 8 equals, bring down the equal sign, bring down the 4x. 8 equals 4x. That's multiplication, so I got to undo that with division. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. The 4's will cancel. And I'm left with x is equal to 8 divided by 4, which is 2. X equals 2. Okay, once again, I could go back, plug that back in here and check it. By the way, let's do that real quick. If I stick in a 2 right there, 4 times 2 minus 2, what is 2 minus 2? That's just 0. And 4 times 0 is just 0. If I stick in a 2 here, 8 times 2 is 16. What is 16 minus 16? That's also 0. So I literally get 0 equals 0. So that actually does check out. That works. Okay, number 10, I have x minus 2x. Okay, I have 1 apple minus 2 apples. Okay, 1 minus 2. Do that on your calculator. 1 minus 2. Whoops, you can't see that, sorry. 1 minus 2, that's a -1. So 1x minus 2x is a -1x. Okay, you can write the 1 if you want to, if it helps you. -1x, bring down the equal sign, bring down the -1x, bring down the +7. Okay, I got to get x by itself, so I got a -x. So I need to undo that. The opposite of -1x is a positive 1x. So if I add 1x to both sides of the equation, -1 plus 1, they just cancel. They just go away. Now that doesn't become 1. When you divide, it becomes 1. When I divide 9 divided by 9, that's 1. But when I subtract 9 minus 1, or excuse me, 9 minus 9, that's just 0. Okay? -1 apple plus 1 apple is 0 apples. That's just 0. Equals, and the same thing. Those cancel, and then I bring down the 7. Does 0 equal 7? No, of course not. They don't equal each other. So once again, when the left-hand side does not match the right-hand side, the answer is no solution. There's no number that I can stick in for x that will make the left-hand side equal the right-hand side. No solution. Number 11, I've got variables on the left, I got variables on the right. So now this is a little bit tricky. I've got to figure out, what do I need to do? Do I need to undo the 4x or undo the 2x? All right, if I add 2x, I'll have -4x plus 2x. That still gives me a negative number, so that doesn't really help me. Or it forces me to do an extra step. So I'd rather add 4 apples to both sides. So right underneath, I'm going to add 4x to both sides of the equation. Draw your line underneath. -4x and 4x, they cancel. So I'm going to bring down the 10. Bring that guy straight down. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the 20. And then I'm going to do -2 plus 4. Do that on your calculator. -2x plus 4x is a positive 2x. I got to get the x by itself, so I need to do something about this 20. That's a positive 20, so I undo that with a -20. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides of the equation. Positive 20 and -20, they cancel. And then I bring this down. 10 minus 20, do it on your calculator. 10 minus 20, that's -10. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 2x. That's multiplication, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. The 2's will cancel, and I get x is equal to negative 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5. Do that on your calculator. I'm going to say this for the 100th time. Negative 10 divided by 2, y'all just do that on your calculator, because some of you guys are still really struggling with adding and subtracting and dividing positive and negative integers. So use that calculator. It's our friend. Okay. X equals negative 5. All right, number 12, I see parentheses, so I'm going to use a distributive property. So here I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down on the left-hand side. Just bring all that down, bring down the equal sign. Let's distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times a positive 3 is a positive 6. I've got 2 apples on the left and 2 apples on the right. Okay, so I need to get rid of one of those guys. So if I subtract 2x from both sides of the equation, 2x minus 2x, those guys cancel. 2x, 2x, minus 2x, those guys cancel. I bring down the 6. I bring down the equal sign. I bring down the 6. Does 6 equal 6? Yes, it does. When the left-hand side equals the right-hand side and there are no variables, all the x's canceled, they just went away, then I have infinite solutions, which means there's literally infinite amount of numbers. I can stick in any number that I want. I can stick in 1, negative square root of pi. I can stick in 4.78. I can stick in 7/4. I can stick in any number for x, and the left-hand side of the equation will match the right-hand side of the equation. So the answer is IS, infinite solutions. Okay. All right, a couple more equations. All right, number 13, 4x plus 7x equals 33. Now I got multiple variables. Notice they're both on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So when I have multiple apples on one side of the equal sign, I need to combine those. I have 4 apples plus 11 apples. Combine my like terms, and I get 11 apples. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 33. Okay, I got to get the x by itself. That's multiplication, so the opposite of that, division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 11, and x is equal to 33 divided by 11, which is 3. X is equal to 3. Okay, number 14, I got variables everywhere. Okay, so I got multiple variables on the left-hand side, so I need to combine those. So 7 apples minus 5 apples is 2 apples. Bring down the equal sign, bring down the right-hand side. I got 2x equals 2x. When the left-hand side, if I divide both sides by x, I get 2 equals 2. Or I could have divided both sides by 2, and I get x equals x. In either case, 2 equals 2, x equals x. When the left-hand side equals the right-hand side, what is that? That's infinite solutions. Any number will work if you plug that into this equation. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, but now we have word problems where we're translating these expressions. And the best way to do this, guys, is to take these little by little, do it in little chunks, okay? So it says write the equation and then solve, okay? So the difference of 4 and 5 times the number is 24. Find the number. Okay, so we got to look at these trigger words. Difference, what does that mean in math? The difference of my age and somebody else's age, I'm going to subtract those two. Sum, total, combined, those are words for addition. Subtraction, less than, difference, those are all words for subtraction, okay? So we got the difference of 4, okay, so that's one thing. We got 4 and something else, okay? So we're going to be subtracting 4 and something else. 5 times a number. The difference of 4 and 5 times a number. Okay, this guy right here, a number. We don't know what that is. So in math, when we don't know something, we're going to use a variable. N for number, X, smiley face, whatever. Okay, so we got 5, we got 4, and we got 5 times a number. 5 times X is 5X. Okay, but it says the difference of 4 and 5X. Okay, now when you see the word difference, the order is correct. Okay. So if I say the difference of Mr. Manise's height and one of my students' height, I'm going to take my height minus their height, okay? The difference of 4 and something else, we're going to subtract 4 and 5 times the number, okay? Is, now we see this word in math, what does is mean? That means equals. Is equivalent to 24, okay? The difference of something and something else is 24, okay? And now we have an equation we need to solve. Okay, I've got to get 5x by itself. So I could add 5x both sides, but here I'll just go ahead and move the 4 to the other side. This is a positive 4, so let's undo that with a minus 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Those will cancel. Bring down the minus 5x. 24 minus 4 is 20. I need to divide both sides by negative 5. Now that's a negative in front, guys. So if there's a negative in front, you need to divide by a negative. If it's 5x equals, divide by 5. If it's negative 5x, you got to divide by negative 5 because negative 5 over negative 5 is a positive 1, and that's what we want. We want a positive 1x. A positive 1x equals 20 divided by negative 5. Positive divided by negative is a negative. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, 1x equals negative 4, or x is equal to negative 4. Okay. Again, pause the video, go back and rewatch these as many times as you guys need. Okay. All right, so that takes us to this one here. Okay, so yeah, one number 16 here. The sum of 12 and a number is 15. Find the number. The sum means add, right? The sum of 12 and a number, x, 12 plus x, is equal to 15. Okay, I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. X is equal to 15 minus 12, which is 3. Okay. Lindsay's brother is 24. He is 4 less than 2 times her age. How old is Lindsay? Her age is what I'm trying to find. It's 2 times that. That's x, but it's 2 times that. So 2 times her age is 2x. And it says he is 4 less than that. So 4 less than that means I'm subtracting that. Something 4 less. 2x minus 4. Okay, he is 24. Okay, 4 less than 2 times her age. 2x minus 4 equals 24. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Those will cancel. 2x is equal to 24 plus 4, which is 28. Divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to 14. Okay. All right, number 18, Kyle and Josh are shooting free throws. Kyle shot 16 free throws, which is 2 more than twice the number Josh shot. How many did Josh shoot? Okay, he shot 16 free throws. 16 is 2 more than twice the number Josh shot. The number Josh shot is x, so it's twice that. Twice means 2x, okay? But it's 2 more than that. 16 is 2 more, 2 plus twice the number he shot. 2 plus 2x, okay? I got to get the x by itself, so I need to undo this 2. I need to undo the addition. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Those cancel. 16 minus 2 is 14. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the 2x. Divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to 14 divided by 2, which is 7. Okay, so for the proportions, is it proportional? Yes or no? Remember, proportion just means 2 ratios are equivalent. 1/2 is equal to 5 over 10. Okay, 1/2 and 5/10 is the exact same thing. Okay, so if I want to see if these ratios are proportional, then I got to cross multiply. All right, so if I cross multiply, 5 times 3.5, 5 times 3.5 gives me 17.5. 7 times 2.5, guess what? That also gives me 17.5. Okay, so when I cross multiply, when I do the butterfly thing, I get the same exact thing. So the answer is yes, those are proportional. Number 20, when I cross multiply, when I do 8 times 27, that gives me 216. When I do 3 times 70, that gives me 210. I don't get the same answer. 216 and 210 are not the same. So no, those are not proportional. Okay. 21 and 22, again, I'm going to cross multiply. I always like to keep the x on the left-hand side. So if I see an x, I'm always going to do that one first. So if the x had been down here, I would have done it this way first. But since the x is this way, I'm going to do that first. 7 times x is 7x. That way I keep bring down the equal sign. I keep the variable on the left-hand side. But that's just me. And then I will do the other butterfly. 3 times 14 is 42. And then I divide by 7. Let's cancel. X equals 42 divided by 7, which is 6. Okay, so x is 6. Number 22, again, I want to do the x first, so I'm going to do this one first. 5 times x is 5x equals 13 times 35. Cross multiply there. That gives me 455. And then let's divide both sides by x. Those will cancel. And x is equal to 455 over 5, which comes out to a big number, 91. And that's okay. Sometimes we get big numbers in math. That's okay. All right, home stretch here on the back. Okay, we got some more proportions here. All right, so now this is a little bit tricky though because I have two terms here. So now when I multiply, guys, I got to make sure I distribute. I got to do 6 times the x plus 3, okay, equals, do the other half of the butterfly, 4 times 9, which is 36. Okay, we're cross multiplying. All these operations are multiplication. Okay, I got to distribute here. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 18 equals 36. I need to undo the addition, so let's subtract 18 from both sides. Draw your line, those cancel. Bring down the 6x, bring down the equal sign. 36 minus 18 is 18. And then the last step is divide by 6. Those will cancel. And x equals 18 divided by 6, which is 3. Okay, x is 3. All right, 24. Again, I want to do the x first, so I'll do it this way. So this is kind of weird because I have 1 times x minus 1 equals 6 times 4, which is 24. Well, there's really nothing to distribute here. I mean, if you distribute 1 times anything is just itself. So 1 times x is x, 1 times negative 1 is minus 1 equals 24. So 1 times anything, of course, is just itself. So again, there's nothing to distribute. Let's go ahead and add 1 to both sides, undo the subtraction. And x equals 24 plus 1, which is 25. Okay. All right, 25 is a little tricky. Now, this case, it doesn't matter which way I go because I'm going to get an x either way. So let's go ahead and do 4 times. I got to put that in parentheses, guys. When you see these two terms, put that in parentheses. Equals the other half of the butterfly, 5 times this expression. Put your parentheses, x minus 2. Okay, so let me stop there. Make sure you're caught up with me. 4 times x plus 1, 5 times x minus 2. Now here I got to distribute twice. That's okay. Draw your little arcs. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is positive 4. Bring down the equal sign. Draw your arcs again. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is minus 10. All right, now here I got a decision. So should I subtract 5x from both sides or subtract 4x? I want to subtract 4x because that's going to give me a positive variable over here. The 4x's will cancel. Bring down the 4, bring down the equal sign. 5 apples minus 4 apples is 1 apple. Bring down the minus 10. And the last step is to move the 10 to the other side. So let's do the opposite of negative 10, which is adding 10. Those will cancel. And I get x is equal to 4 plus 10, which is 14. 14. Okay. 26, all right, cross multiply again, same thing. 2 times this expression, 2 times 2x plus 4, close the parentheses, bring down the equal sign, do the second half of the butterfly, 8 times this expression, x minus 4. Okay, I got 2 sets of parentheses, so I have to distribute twice. Go ahead and draw your arcs. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times positive 4 is positive 8. Bring down the equal sign. 8 times x is 8x. Positive 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. I want to keep a positive variable, so I'm going to subtract 4x, so I can stay positive over here. Subtract 4x from both sides of the equation. Draw your line. Those will cancel. Bring down your 8. Bring down your equal sign. 8 apples minus 4 apples is 4 apples. Bring down your minus 32. Now it's just a two-step equation. I got to undo this minus 32, so let's add 32 to both sides of the equation. Draw your line. 32's will cancel. 8 plus 32 is 40. Bring down your equal sign. Bring down the 4x. Now I need to divide both sides by 4. Those cancel, and x is equal to 40 divided by 4, which is 10. X equals 10. Again, you guys can go back and check these, plug them back in, and check and make sure they work. Okay. All right, 27. 7 out of 8 TL Hannah students have siblings. If there are 1,200 students at Hannah, how many have siblings? So on these word problems, guys, these are the ones where you need to come out here to the side and write down the ratio and what the words mean. Okay, 7 out of 8. Okay, so there's one ratio, 7/8. 7 out of 8 students have siblings. Okay, so 7 siblings out of what? 8 students. Okay, 7 siblings out of 8 students. Okay, equals, if there are 1,200 students, how many siblings? So you got to figure out where does the x go. And that's why it's so important to write these words. What do we have? Do we have 1,200 siblings or 1,200 students? We have 1,200 students, so the 1,200 goes on the bottom. The x goes on the top. 1,200 students on the bottom. Okay, so you got to match up students, students, siblings, siblings. Now our cross multiply, 8 times x is 8x. Cross multiply is a big number. 7 times 1,200 gives me 8,400. Okay, I'm going to divide both sides by 8. 8's cancel, and x is equal to 8,400 divided by 8, which is 1,050 have siblings. Okay, does that make sense? 7/8, that's most of them, right? So isn't 1,050 most of 1,200? Yeah, I buy that. That makes sense to me. Okay, ask yourself, does my answer sound reasonable? Does it make sense? Okay. Last one here, guys. Hannah's making brownies for her friends. She uses 2 cups of chocolate chip cookies, which gives her 24 brownies. Okay, so 2 cups per 24 brownies. So I'm going to say cups of CC, cups of chocolate chips per 24 brownies. Okay, that's going to equal how many brownies can she make with 7 cups? Okay, so where does the 7 go? 7 cups, right? 7 goes on the top. And the brownies, which I don't know, that's the variable that goes on the bottom. I don't know the number of brownies. Okay, so you got to make sure you figure out which does the numerator or the denominator have the variable. Cross multiply, 2 times x is 2x. Cross multiply, 7 times 24 is 168. Divide by 2. 2's cancel, and I get x is equal to 84 brownies. Okay. And yeah, that makes sense because we have a lot more cups. We have a lot more. We started with 2 and have a lot more cups. So shouldn't I have a lot more brownies? And the answer is yes. Okay. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Study hard, and I wish you good luck on your test.